We've already seen how DCC facilitates layout operation, combining multiple locos and, if required, more than one operator. But, even at its most basic, DCC offers much more than that, as our look at the North Cross Motive Power Depot layout will demonstrate. Typical of small home and exhibition layouts, it occupies a space of just 1'6" by 4 feet. The basic Digitrax controller is all that is needed to carry out the operations we are about to demonstrate. However, we have added a single handset, a low-cost add-on, permitting the operator to stand wherever he chooses. Ideal for exhibitions, bringing the choice of standing behind the back scene or at the front in order to chat to the public. But this basic Digitrax DCC controller offers much more than that.
This is North Cross Motive Power Depot. It's a small portable layout. It measures only 4 foot long by 1.5 foot wide. It's folded in the middle and can be fitted away in a suitcase. So it's representative of a lot of small layouts that people have in the UK where they don't have the space to keep it permanently mounted or they want to take it to a show. All of the components on this layout are standard products available from the model shops in the UK. And what we're looking to demonstrate here is the power of using Digitrax and DCC on even a small layout like this. It brings tremendous benefits. So let's just have a quick look at the Digitrax components that are plugged into this layout. Down here we have the command station. It's a DCS 100 and it's the brains of the system, if you like. Next to it here, this is the programming switch for the layout. We use the cassette board down here as our programming track where we do all kinds of clever things with the locomotives. For example, if you've got a freight engine that when you buy it out of the box it does 150 miles an hour and you never want it to, you can program the chip to understand the characteristics of the motor in the engine and make it behave like a freight engine, for example. There's hundreds of other functions I can talk about there, but it's very flexible. And then finally down here we have the Loconet throttle connector, and this one has the infrared connection, so I don't have to be wired up, so to speak. And that's about it, I think, really, in terms of the Digitrax components. It's a nice simple layout, it's easy to use, and I think you'll probably agree with me that, you know, running it all from one throttle without having to have hundreds of control panels and wires everywhere is a godsend. It really does make operating a layout a pleasure. So what I'm now going to do is take the 08 shunter from down here with the coal trucks under the coaling stage and take out the empties. The first thing I have to do is select the engine on the throttle. That's a simple task. And here she comes, coming through the points. The great thing about the Digitrax throttles is that they have this thing called ballistic tracking, which means that it's very responsive to touch. You get a good feel for how the engine's moving, and you know exactly where to stop it, and it's good. There they are, they're in now. I change direction, and then I'm going to take the shunter back out, and out she comes. Changing direction on these throttles is really simple because you just press one button, change the direction of the engine, and then I move it back in again. And as I come up close, I slow it down, couple up. That's great. Now I change direction again, just by simply pressing one button on the throttle, and out I go, taking the empties away. So I can do everything that I want to do about controlling this layout with this shunter from the throttle. Now I'm going to demonstrate the refueling, turning and watering of a steam locomotive. Down here on the layout I've got a Southern Region Q1, and I'm going to select her and take her out. The engine number is 33017. So I press loco, and then I press the numbers 3017. Select, got it. Engine 3017 is now selected, but if I was to drive it off, I can see it's going to go forward. You can see the little flashing sign here with the arrow that points towards the chimney. So I change the engine direction here with this button, and now you can see the arrow points towards the tender of the locomotive. So now, having selected the locomotive, got her in the right direction, and now bring her out of track 3, accelerating up to say 15 miles an hour over the points. And once it comes to the thing, bring it back down to stop. Having brought the engine out of the engine shed onto the cassette board, I now want to bring her in. The first thing I have to do is change the direction that the engine is going to drive. At the moment she's driving tender first. By pressing this button here, I reverse the direction of travel. And it shows up here in this icon with the arrow now pointing towards the smoke box of the engine. Before I move the engine out, I've got to set the points accordingly. Each of the running roads on this motive power depot are cascaded with a sequence of points. In order to get track 3 to be able to move, I go to the switch button here, I enter the number 3, and they issue the closed instruction. The path's clear. So now I'm going to take her back out now, over the points. And then slowly bring it down to a halt under the coaling stage. There. Now I'm going to take it onto the turntable and rotate it round, turn the engine around the right way. Change the point there. And accelerate her up, bring her out. Onto the turntable. This always requires a bit of care, doesn't it? Because it's so easy to overrun these things. However, yeah, I've got it just on there. I can control the turntable from the throttle. I've done that because I put one of the chips that you use in the engines into the housing mechanism on that turntable. So I can control it as if it was a locomotive. I can speed it up and slow it down in its turning rate. And now I'm going to turn the locomotive around. I select it. It's actually been programmed as engine number 999. I don't have to switch the track power as it turns around when it gets to its, if it's turned 180 degrees, because Digitrax have a device which auto-detects the orientation. It's called an AR1, and it's an auto-reversing unit. It can be built for main lines, but in this case it's used for turntables. Hang on a sec. It's come to the right spot. When I change the speed down to 0, it stops it, and the engine can now be moved off. So the whole thing can be controlled from this throttle. It couldn't be simpler. The final movement I'm going to show you is bringing in a WD from the main line into the coaling stage down at this end of the layout. The difference about this WD though is it's got a sound chip in it, and boy does that make a difference. It's my favourite locomotive. I've probably got 50 or 60 steam locomotives that are chipped, but this one is my favourite because it's so realistic. Have a listen. So select the sound chip loco 25, enter, and bring her in. Here she comes, coming in. With the press of a button, I can sound the whistle as many times as I like. Phenomenal. And the beauty about this is I'm running it infrared. Look, the lead's not attached.
North amply demonstrates how even a small layout can benefit from DCC. You can free yourself from cables altogether by using the Digitrax infrared handheld controller system. Infrared remote control offers even greater advantages on larger layouts, and there are few larger than Strathlawn, built by Peter Steele and his father-in-law Will Nicholas. As we move on to examine Strathlawn in more detail, we shall see how you don't have to be an expert to adopt DCC, even when your modelling ambitions are above average.